Welcome back to Ask Abundance. Today I'm joined by Rebecca Smith. Rebecca is a limitless practice grad who came aboard Team Abundance. She has a premium fee, a private pay practice in New Orleans, and she is great at helping abundance therapists imagine what's possible for them. So we're going to be talking about some good questions. Here is today's. I've been in private practice long enough that I thought I'd feel more settled by now. Like I'd have a rhythm, a system, and a practice that actually supports me. It feels like the longer I do this, the heavier it gets to keep showing up, staying energized, and making decisions that don't backfire later. I'm realizing that being good at therapy isn't necessarily the same thing as building a practice that's sustainable. How do I build the kind of private practice that I can actually stay in for years? So before we get into it, I would love to talk about our sponsor for Ask Abundance, TherapyNotes. I've talked about TherapyNotes for years, know their features by heart, but what truly sets them apart is that they genuinely care about your experience. It's not just about troubleshooting. They actively implement user-suggested features like therapy search, secure messaging, clinical outcome tracking, and their AI notes feature, Therapy Fuel. Everyone at TherapyNotes believes in the product and wants you to love it too. Plus, they're independently owned, which means no venture capital and no pressure to prioritize investors over customers. This independence allows them to keep their prices fair, focus on innovation, and prioritize customer experience. With over 100,000 therapists already on board, they've proven that you don't have to compromise success for quality. If you're ready to see yours for yourself, try Therapy Notes free for 2 months with the code ABUNDANT at therapynotes.com. Yay. Hi, Rebecca.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. All right. Let's talk about this person's issue. We have talked to a lot of people in this space
Mhm.
where they're feeling like, oh, is this it? I thought this was going to be a lot more like peaceful and easeful than this.
Yes, and free. Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
feel trapped.
Yes. Especially trapped with like golden handcuffs that are like tarnished gold, right? Like they're not even making the kind of money they want to make often, but they're
No.
making enough that it's more than they've ever made in their life.
Yeah. And how can
So
you cancel a day when you make that much in a day?
I know it gets messy. And I think that often adds to this sense of like it being unsustainable.
Hmm.
So it sounds like they don't have a rhythm, they don't have a system, and they don't have a practice that actually supports them. So maybe let's start with like, what does a good rhythm look like?
Well, and I think this question is, I love that question because it seems from her question that like the niche, the therapy part is working and the business part is not.
Hmm.
And so what I think is cool is like this therapist knows what it feels like when something is working, and therefore they know that this part isn't. And so that kind of like trial and error period seems like what's happening right now to me.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Like maybe, or maybe they're just continuing in the way that they started.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's not like, it's just not working when you're this full, right? We
Hmm.
can tolerate a lot of systems that aren't honed when we have, 5 or 10 clients. But if
Yeah.
you've got 20 or 25 clients, if those systems aren't honed, it feels like chaos and it feels
Hmm.
unsustainable. And I wonder if that's like the heavier it gets to keep showing up piece that they talk about.
Hmm.
Um, I also wonder, like the staying energized. I also just need to address like the world is on fire. So
Girl. It's exhausting to just be in it, but then to listen to people talk about it every day is
yeah,
so incredibly heavy.
yes, yes. And so I also wonder, it's not like the world hasn't been on fire for a good long time, but I wonder how much that is just eroding.
Mhm.
Like there's an erosion for a lot of us that everything feels heavy. And so of course work feels heavy where everybody's talking about the heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and we can't, we're obviously not going to be like, let's not talk about that to our clients.
Right.
So in
Your
my,
sadness is making me sad. Can we switch topics? Like that's not option. That's not an option here.
not an option. So to my mind, it feels like it would be a really great thing to have like your systems set up and your practice set up so that at least the practice itself, the business part itself, isn't adding to the heaviness.
Yeah. I think that when I look at a rhythm, a system, a practice that supports me, when I think about the rhythm, I think about the day-to-day rhythm or week to week, but also like over the course of the year. And so
Mm.
some of the things that I'm curious about for this therapist is there enough white space either in a day or in the year to just take a break for yourself and then also take a break to look at the system, to shift it, to try something new?
Hmm.
Or is it just like I'm sprinting back to back to back, not only every day, but from January to December?
Right. Yeah. So that's it. I like your like zooming out that it's not just the day-to-day rhythm, but when we're really full, we don't always have the same lulls that we had when we were first starting our practice.
Yeah.
So if you kind of looked forward to a slightly lighter August or taking a few weeks off in December and you're like, well, maybe I can't take this slightly like my people want to come all through the summer and my people want to come in December. That doesn't mean they come. You can say, I'm taking the last 2 weeks of December off,
Yeah.
or um, making sure that you are prioritizing your vacations with your family over when you suspect your clients might want or need you,
Hmm.
because you're not going to be able to, like you said, this is already looking unsustainable. You're not going to be able to continue to serve people if you're burning it, you know, all the time.
Yeah. And to take that break for that vacation with your family and also take a break from clinical work for a day
Hmm.
to brainstorm, to journal, to ask a mentor, to ask a therapist friend to help figure out that rhythm for yourself. Like taking the
Yes.
time and not going anywhere, but working on the business to make active changes. That takes white space too, I feel like.
100%. Yes. Yeah. And I think sometimes I hear therapists like, I don't even know what needs to change. Like, if I take a day off, I don't even know. I'm just going to stare at my laptop. So, what I would suggest, if that's you, is that you would like throughout the week, just jot down the things that are annoying, like at the minimum, and all the way to like, I can't keep doing this at the maximum.
Yeah.
And then take that day to look at the themes there.
Mhm.
Um, and to remember where it's easy to get stuck in a rut, that just because you've been doing something for maybe a decade in your private practice doesn't mean that's the right way to do it for you.
Mhm. Or because everybody else is doing it. Like, and I
Yes.
think that it's not about, it can be about your rate or whether you take insurance or something, but I made a change last year that was huge for me. I switched my cancellation policy from 24-hour to 3 days.
Hmm.
And for some reason that gave me so much more. I could breathe. Like I
Hmm.
had so many people canceling like at 25 hours out, and all
Yeah.
everybody has a 24-hour cancellation policy. Well, who am I to say that it's not working? But it wasn't working for me. And
Hmm.
so figuring out what makes you really irritated, what makes you resentful about your practice or your clients,
Hmm.
um, and then making like what would make this great? Do that magic wand question for yourself. What would make this amazing? And then make that change, actually make the change.
Hmm. And I think one of the things we see most often is people not raising their rate. And so, like, part of what's so hard is they're seeing too many clients in order to make the money that they want to make. So,
Yeah.
not sure if that's this person's thing, but that's definitely something to consider. And again, I feel like the people who've been in practice for a really long time are often the most set in their ways,
Hmm.
right? So, this, like, well, I've been charging, 175 for 4 years. So, and I raised it from 150 before that,
4
that,
years ago.
yeah. So if you're not giving yourself a raise every year, then I'm going to suggest that maybe you could be doing things differently.
Hmm. How do I build the kind of practice that I can stay in for years? Will not be the same practice every year. Like
Yes.
it will, I was like, oh wait, that really hit me when somebody told me that consistency and flexibility have to go hand in hand. You have
Mhm.
to figure it out every year and shift it because last year's self doesn't need the same thing as this year's self.
Yes. And for those of us who are wired a little rigidly, who really thrive on consistency, um, um, that can be kind of hard to wrap your head around sometimes. But that flexibility really is so vital to weave into a sustainable practice. So amazing. Well, thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate your
You're
thoughts.
welcome.
And yeah, if you are somebody who is in this circumstance, you may need to check out Limitless Practice. We may be on a waiting list when you get to this. If that's you, then we'll put the link in the show notes or in the caption if you're watching this on social. And check out Limitless Practice if you are full and need to make these kinds of changes and it's hard.
And if you're not sure about it, you're going to talk to me about it.
Yeah, yeah, you can
Get on
talk
my
to
schedule.
Rebecca to kind of like flesh it out, see if it's the right fit. Awesome.
Mhm.
All right, thank you.